hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, yeah, run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah.
Everybody, happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, of course it's Tuesday. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. I am Spencer Israel. We've got JC Parets. We've got Steve Strazza. We've got Chart Master Alfonso working in the background, whipping up charts for us in the factory. You know how he does. What's up, chat? What's up, Curtis? What's up, Arrow? How y'all doing today? We got some stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about small caps. I understand that Strazza has a chart of TAN he wants to discuss. I guess we're talking about solar today. I don't know. Got maybe an earnings that you may be interested in. You know what we have that we haven't had in a while today? An interesting analyst note. And yes, it is interesting. Genuinely interesting. We'll talk about that. John Roque is today's guest. He is the Senior Managing Director and Head of Technical Strategy at 22V Research. Will be on the show at 8:50. We'll have Kimmy Sokoloff. We'll have Patrick Dunuwila from the Chart Report. That is the rundown. Smash the like for me. It's the button that looks just like my thumb right there. Hit that. Let's go.
Mr. Strazza, Mr. Spencer, good morning, everybody in the chat, everybody on YouTube. Nice little Tuesday.
How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I was having a little conversation this morning with my wife, as a matter of fact, of various retailers, and she is telling me that I'm like, yo, what's up with TJ Maxx, right? Because she's always shopping at these places. So she gives me the insight. This is my fundamental analysis, little channel checking, Strazza. You see that? See how I do that?
What she
So
said?
she tells me that TJ Maxx has the name brands. They got the Jimmy Choos and they got the Tory Burches, and Walmart now carrying some of these higher end brands as well. Meanwhile, Target is just garbage, and it's not good. It's my understanding from my conversations with my wife. What do you think about that?
I think that guy, who is it, Brian Cornell, is in trouble.
Brian Cornell. Yeah,
over at Target, because, like you said, JC, their competitors seem to be doing just fine. And I know that they've had issues about like inventory and exactly what you said, like product offerings and stuff,
shrinkage
over the years. No, not even like seriously. I think they went a different direction than their competitors. I didn't know that you can get like nice name brands at TJ Maxx.
How would you know? Like, you hanging out at freaking
well, speaking of TJ Maxx, I
shop there a lot.
I haven't been to a TJ Maxx, but I was at a Marshall's over the weekend, and they're owned by TJ Maxx.
Yeah, but Marshall's is not as good as actual TJ, is my understanding.
Oh no, Marshall. My point is Marshall sucks. That's the point I'm trying to make here. It was awful. Every piece of like unsold inventory, I think, just gets shipped over to Marshall's and put on clearance.
Yeah, but that might be good business, right? It starts at TJ Maxx, and anybody who doesn't buy it, then they lower it a tier. That makes sense, no?
Yeah, it was a sad place.
And Home Goods has a bunch. Moms love Home Goods, dude.
It's true.
So it's they listen. They're doing something right. Why don't we hit the state of the markets and talk about it? What do you say?
Sure.
Art looks good.
All right. Well, why don't we start out with the TJ Maxx, just to show the strength here. This is what me and my wife talk over breakfast. Meanwhile, we weren't the ones eating breakfast. We're giving the kids breakfast. But why don't you show just how much of a beast this TJ Maxx is? Throw it up, Fonz. Look at this thing. Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
How many people? I mean, we do this every day. We know what this thing looks like. But how many people, not us or not professional, I should say, know just how strong this company is?
Yeah, this wouldn't come to mind, like with the price lines and the Netflixes and the Amazons, right? But I'm glad that you brought us a zoomed out view here, because this is nothing new for this stock. Making new highs in an environment where other stocks are struggling. this has been a secular leader, like you said, our entire careers, longer.
This thing is such a beast, man. This thing's been ripping since I was in middle school, right? Like, I mean, look at this thing. This goes back to the 90s. Wow.
Yeah, like you said, say we want about Marshalls, TJ Maxx, or any of their stores, but clearly these guys know what they're doing, and they've been onto something for a long time.
As opposed to, why don't you throw slide 4 there?
Foot
as
Locker.
opposed to this piece of hot garbage. Throw up the hot garbage. Let's see it. Look at this thing. This thing is a piece of crap, right? I mean, just look at this thing. New multi-year lows, kind of just totally missed the bull market, right?
Yeah. Do we have a Walmart chart? I'm pulling it up now because
we definitely have a Walmart chart. So look at the difference. Look at Target. Now look at Walmart. My understanding is from my wife is that Walmart is carrying some higher end brands as well. So it seems to me like betting on the lower middle class, like that doesn't seem to be the good bet. Like it seems to be like, that whole Howard Lindzen theory of that luxury, betting on the wealthy continuing to, right? Like that theme keeps coming up. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
it's funny, right? Because we had a conversation with Mike Singleton the other day, and he laughed when you called Walmart discretionary. Right, he said it's mostly staples, I guess, and they do a lot of grocery. But now you're talking about offering luxury goods, which is incredibly discretionary. So clearly, they're offering a nice mix where they have like the staples and the grocery business, which is more recession proof, and then maybe they're also now offering some high end items.
Yeah, like I would say, I mean, think about it. McDonald's is technically a consumer discretionary. And then Walmart is technically a consumer staple. I would flip them. I would put Mickey D's as a staple, right? Because if people don't have money and things are bad, they're going to go to McDonald's, right? Like, that's not discretionary. That's a staple, no?
You would think, especially the, appliances, televisions, things like that people slow down those kinds of purchases, right? In a tougher economy. So, and Walmart obviously does a lot of that, along with the stapley stuff like the groceries.
And then so TJ Maxx looks great, Walmart looks great, Target looks terrible. I wanted to mention another situation here. Seeing a lot of blow off top conversation, a lot of parabolic end to a bubble AI stuff. And then I actually look at the chart of NVIDIA. And usually blow-off tops tend to look like blow-off tops and not healthy consolidations. Why don't you throw that chart up there, Fonz? It's there it is. Does this look like a blow-off top to you?
No. And you know what? I really like the line chart for this one. I think this should be viewed in the line chart right now.
All right, Charlie Dow. Listen, we have a candlesticks here.
But you get my point. It's been wild intraday. You got sticks going in both directions.
This doesn't look like a blow off top. Like, listen, NVIDIA could start crashing tomorrow. Maybe it's a whole scam. I have no idea. But blow off tops look like blow off tops. They look like the Empire State Building pattern, right? I think
just as important of a point is the relative trend, which is also basically just sitting at
new all-time highs on a relative basis.
No weakness in the absolute or the relative trend, and momentum catching back up. Yeah.
Not only are we seeing no weakness and they're making new all-time highs on both an absolute and on a relative basis, it doesn't look like a blow-off top. Like it doesn't even look anything like a blow-off top. Like nothing, right? Like what blow-off top?
I'm with you.
All right. I hate it when you're with me. I like it when we disagree, but it's okay. If you would have disagreed with me on this one, I would have really ripped you. Right?
No,
this doesn't look like a parabolic top.
If you think about what it's done, 4x off of the lows from last fall, let it consolidate, right? Let it digest these gains. And this
4x in less than a year. And this is a real company. This is like real market cap. This isn't like a marijuana stock. Like this is $1 trillion.
Now it's real. You just said it could all be a fraud.
I hope it is. I mean, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I'm just saying. I got to call it like I see, and it don't look like a parabolic top. You know what else is interesting? Speaking of, somebody said on the chat, looks like a stair step higher. in
Yeah,
TJ
yeah.
Maxx. Why don't you throw the small cap Russell 2000? Speaking of stair step higher, closed last month at new 16-month highs, and now it's down 1 month now. But why don't you zoom out? Does this look like? Looks like a stair step higher. You see that, Joe? Kind of like TJ Maxx, right? Stair step higher. So the trade has been, you can't be short this thing. It's constructive if we're above 170. Those were the 2018 highs, and we've held that. And then from a relative strength standpoint, look at small caps versus large caps. Again, we haven't seen that rotation into small cap stocks. Throw in the relative strength chart there. We haven't seen it yet. And contrary to popular belief, small caps don't necessarily have to be outperforming large caps to be in a bull market. In the back half of the 1990s, small caps underperformed the entire time. Stocks did great, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's just large caps led. So this isn't so much a risk on, risk off gauge as much as it is. This is a logical place to see some small cap outperformance, but we haven't seen that yet. So I want to pull up the minor leaguers list, and I want you. I want to ask you, Strazza, what stands out the most out of this table? Throw it up. This is the minor leaguers, and then remember, guys, for those of you who are new here, we changed the rules for what constitutes a small cap. Traditionally, it's 300 million to 2 billion. We think that's silly, so we changed the rules. $1 billion to be a small cap in our world, and we raised that up to $4 billion. So $1 to $4 billion, and these are sorted by relative strength. So just because the Russell 2000 small cap index is not outperforming or hasn't started to outperform, doesn't mean that there aren't individual stocks here that are outperforming. They certainly are. We sorted by proximity to new highs. Mr. Strazza,
Yeah.
what stands out to you in this table?
So this week we talked about Spectrum Brands and the well-known armored car company. It's at the top of the list here, Brinksco, BCO.
Mm-hmm.
But our favorite names from this table were already long. I'll talk about those too. If you move a little bit down from the top here, you see Consol Energy and Alpha Metallurgical Resources. These are coal stocks. We're already
getting good at practicing how to say that.
Metallurgical.
If coal stocks were in a bear market, you would have no idea how to pronounce that.
I don't even know what it means. That's why we got to get Matt on here.
That's why we got to get Matt Warder in here so he can explain what that word means.
Until we do, these are energy stocks, and they're the strongest ones. So we love these bases. These ones look really good.
Hold on. What stands out the most? You didn't answer my question.
Coal stocks, the two I just named.
I was gonna expand that. I was gonna say how much energy is in there, right? Whether coal or materials, whatever you can call coal. We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole. Nevertheless, it looks way different than it did in the beginning of the year, first half of the year, right? The industry groups are very different.
Yeah, energy, and it's also the way we scan, right? It has a lot to do with the filters here because we're looking for the stocks that are the closest to new highs. And due to the resilience from energy, while the rest of the market has kind of sold off, these names have really risen to the top, especially over the past month.
Throw up that console quick, just so you guys can see exactly what Strazza is talking about. This is Consol Energy. This is coal.
Again,
is this the thermal or is it the coking? Which coal is this?
This is coking. No, this is thermal, and then AMR is actually coking.
Got it. You know what it is? It's making new all-time highs is what it is, which is more important than what type of coal company it is, right?
You would think that like some of the thermal ones all look the same and then the coking ones all look the same. It's not even like that because like Peabody is really a laggard. That's thermal. And then CIX and AMR look very similar, but I'm pretty sure they're different. So we definitely need to get Warder on here. The point is, you're not going to find many charts that look as good as these two right now, AMR and CIX.
2.7 billion.
Yeah, they're
in market capitalization, FYI.
Both of them are mid caps. And then,
small caps by our definition.
Yeah, sure. So another honorable mention would have to be Acushnet, also on this list, which we have talked about on here. But that showed up again this week. Ticker symbol Golf. I think we have the chart.
Strazza's favorite ticker symbol.
It's just really strong.
Yeah.
One hole. I want to address this. One hole says, do small caps even matter? Some of the large cap names have more market cap than all the small caps, like Apple. Yeah. So, do small caps matter? Well, they matter to the small cap index because they're all small caps. Number one. Number two, Apple is bigger than all of the Russell 2000 combined. Expect more of these companies. Apple's just the first one. There's going to be a ton more, for the simple reason that the market caps of these stocks keep getting bigger. But by definition, the Russell 2000 market caps cannot get any bigger. So that universe will never grow, but other companies will. So
there's no market cap ceiling for the large cap indexes.
Right. And then also remember that in the small cap index, they're always kicking out their best players.
By definition. Like
the goal is to exceed the market cap levels for small caps and move on. So they're always kicking out their best level. So it's not that it doesn't matter. And then also, not to mention that in certain sectors like energy, materials, shipping, biotech, they're all small caps and mid caps. Like those companies just aren't big enough to make it onto those large caps. So do they matter? They don't matter to the S&P 500 performance. Certainly don't. But they matter to, on an individual equity basis, they matter to specific sectors. They matter in their own index, right? So it depends on, it matters to who, it matters to what, right? It doesn't matter to the Dow, right? But it matters to certain sectors and other indexes. And, you know, if you're looking for 10 baggers, if you're looking for 20 baggers, you're not going to find them at a $3 trillion market cap. You're going to find them from small caps. You're finding them with $2 billion companies that go to 20 billion. You're going to find them from $5 billion companies that go to 100 billion. Those are where the 20, 30 baggers are.
And like you said,
how'd I do? That was pretty good.
No, that was great. And a lot of these commodity stocks also are, just like we talked about, these coal stocks, like uranium stocks, a lot of energy names. They're in the small and mid cap categories. So it really depends on what sector you're talking about. In technology, you have a million large caps to choose from, but some of these other sectors, it's not the same.
Like the biggest marine shipping company is like $3 billion or something ridiculous. Like they're all tiny. That's just, you know, some of these companies can't scale to 3 trillion. They're never going to scale. Like you can't make enough ships ever to be able to scale to 3 trillion. You know, it goes
back to like what you were talking about with like, you know, companies are growing faster than they've ever been able to at a massive size these days. That's because these tech companies can scale in a way that we never knew was possible. These cyclical industries, old industrial companies, materials companies, raw materials companies, of course, it moves in a business cycle and they don't scale at all, right? But then somebody's selling software, it's a different ballgame. So these companies are massive in tech, communications.
Yeah. They're much more scalable in terms of size. They're just different, right? So it's not that one is better than the other or, you know, this one doesn't matter and that one does. They're just different. That's fine.
That's it.
How do we do there, Spencer?
You did great. You did great. Since we were talking about retail, we did have one retailer report earnings this morning.
Hit the bumper.
And it was Best Buy. Is it the Best Buy right now? We'll look at the chart and judge for ourselves. Not
Buy, huh?
not exactly a report for the ages. It's a particularly memorable report here. The stock is up a little bit this morning, up like a couple bucks, but it was a fine report. They did tighten their guidance range, but their numbers from last quarter came with estimates. I went through their statement real fast, and I did a Control F for the word shrinkage.
Oh yeah.
Zero mentions of the word shrinkage. I guess that's not a problem at an electronics store. Hard to walk out with a flat screen TV, I guess.
Everything's literally already locked up in those stores.
That's true.
Can I tell you, I have been to a Best Buy twice in the last couple of months, which is 2 more times that I've stepped into most stores on this planet. I'm not a store goer, go-toer, right? I don't do that sort of thing. But I had to buy a speaker for my daughter's birthday the other day, and I got one of these giant LG speakers. It's pretty freaking awesome. And you can take it to like the beach or the park or something like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got that at Best Buy. The customer service was fantastic. Fantastic customer service. And then I just finished my basement recently, bought a TV for the basement. The Geek Squad came in. They installed the whole thing. bing, bam, boom. It would have taken me a week to hang that
Big
damn
bam
thing.
boom.
These guys did it in a second. So just want to give a shout out to Best Buy. Great customer service. Very, very happy with my experiences there.
Good.
I can't talk intelligently about most store experiences. I got to tell you what the wife said. I got to tell you about what I hear. But this one, I got this one twice in like a couple months. That's pretty good, I thought. No?
Chart's not bad either.
It's not great. Above 90, below 90, leave it alone.
It's funny how like we thought I thought this stock was, because this company was dead on the water. They were just roadkill on the Amazon highway back in like 2016, right? Because that's what they looked like. And then
roadkill on the Amazon highway. Okay, Spencer.
Something
all right.
happened. They flipped a switch. They turned it around. I'm not quite sure how, but
I don't know how either. I'm pretty sure it's not because of their customer service. There's got to be something else they're doing. Is it online? Is it because of the online?
What? You don't think it's the Geek Squad?
No. The reason this chart looks so good, it ain't because of the customer service. There's got to be something. There's got to be something that we're missing here, which I'm fine with. I don't really care, right?
I mean, it did go from 140 to 60 not long ago.
Right. Recently. Now.
All right. What else?
Can we just talk about how we're having John Roque on as a guest?
I thought
today?
Spencer was going to bring the Pinduo Duo news. No?
No.
You don't pay attention to Chinese stocks anymore?
Yeah,
What's going on?
I mean, it is up 13% this morning. I could have, but it's a Chinese internet stock, and I don't even know what they do. And can you even believe these numbers? But if you do believe them, I guess they were good. Their EPS beat, their sales beat. And I guess it's up 13% this morning. So that's not nothing, but, I didn't come ready with that chart just because, I don't know.
Can somebody tell me how, speaking of Asian stocks, how this VinFast Auto?
Yes, I can.
It's the 50th largest stock in the world. I had to pull up their F1 filing the other day. I mean, this company.
Strazza just likes that it's from Vietnam.
No, dude, come on. How are you not paying attention to this thing?
I can.
You tell me about it every day. How can I not be paying attention?
Listen,
I can tell you.
I'm really interested, but this thing's bigger than Pfizer. So
it's the third biggest automaker.
Well,
it's the third biggest automaker in the world, and this is what you should do. You should go to your broker or your brokerage, whatever, and try to short it. Just try. Don't actually short it. Don't short it for real. Listen, just try to short it.
What are you talking about?
Listen to me. You won't be able to.
Oh yeah, no shit.
What's the borrow?
There's no float.
It's obscene. The borrowing cost, if you can even get shares, if you can even get them,
held very closely.
We can get
it's
them.
like 300% or something. It would.
If I wanted to short this, I could short it.
Okay, well, most people
owns like 95% of the stock or something.
There's 25 million shares out there in the float. This thing is unshortable just from a market structure standpoint.
How do they let this happen? Like, how do securities regulators? I know you guys don't know the answer. Like,
well, what's wrong with what he's doing? He owns 90%. It's only 10% of the float or whatever it is. What's wrong with that?
Because it's not a liquid market. You're letting a security come to market that you know is going to have liquidity problems.
So
there's no way to know that a stock is going to become hard to borrow. There's lots of stocks out there with floats.
That's not true, Spencer. If this is 95% closely held, they know that in filings coming in. Insiders have to reveal themselves.
Yes, but there's lots of stocks with 25 million shares in the float, and they're not all doing this. You know what I mean? So,
right. It's true. He makes a good point there. But what is the CEO doing wrong? I don't understand. There's nothing wrong with this.
I don't even think it's the CEO. It's like the wealthiest man in Vietnam or something. Let me see. I got some intel on this.
Strazza's got the inside scoop with the homies in Vietnam, right? Calling up the homies in
anyway, the stock is unshortable. And that, I think, explains this chart right here and why. Because there's literally only one side of the market playing ball.
All right. VinFast's founder and Vietnam's richest man, Pham Nhat Vuong, holds over a 99% stake in VFS.
Not until you start selling, whenever that is.
It's apparently from Reuters. I don't know.
Good for him. I don't see a problem here.
No, but my point is, it's the market cap has become insanely large.
Is this right? The one hole is saying that the CEO is now the second richest man in the world after Musk.
I don't know.
Look at what the thing's gone 8x since it started trading.
Again, third largest automaker in the world by market cap, and they delivered.
Pham Nai
Wait,
Vong, this guy.
Who's bigger besides Tesla? No, they're the second largest. Oh, Toyota.
Toyota, no, yeah, Toyota. I was going to say one of the Japanese makers is bigger. They're definitely bigger than Ford and GM.
It's fascinating what's going on.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. All right. Anyway.
I mean, this stuff happens from time to time. Frankly, there's nothing special about this company. This happens. Maybe what's special about it is it's a recent IPO or that it's EV. But like this happens. This happens on the regular.
But does it happen at this size? Okay, like you're talking about GameStop and AMC, and fine, like those stocks got run up, and what did they become, like big mid caps for a while?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. From a market cap side, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's large. It's definitely large. It's a big move in market cap standpoint, no doubt about that.
Hey,
so,
this company's almost worth as much Disney lost in market cap since you bought it.
Yeah, that's maybe I'm not gonna fact check you. So sure, but this is just a market structure quirk. It happens. You know what I mean? If you can't short the stock, there are no sellers out there. You know this right here is why you need short sellers for this. This is the reason, because they keep prices in check. Without
short sellers are great. Short sellers are necessary in this market. Why don't we check in on markets, shall we?
Sure.
We got the Dow futures basically flat, down 30 points. S&P's flat. NASDAQ down 10 basis points, pretty much flat. Bonds pretty much flat. Gold flat. Silver flat. Copper flat. Oil up 40 basis points. You got the dollar inching higher a little bit with rates and volatility inching higher as well. But no action at all in the equities market this morning at the index level. So we shall see what happens after the open.
What is it? Like, how many days in a row have we gone without a 2% move in the S&P? Like a lot. It's been a lot.
I don't know.
It's been a lot.
Has it?
By the way,
what is so magical about the 2%?
I don't know. It's just what people quote. By the way, this week does mark the
well, in that case,
this week marks that the 2/3 mark through the year. So, you know, there's still time to get your New Year's resolutions on track. Everyone, we're 2/3 of the way through the year, just about. So,
can we talk about? I see John Roque's not going to be able to make it today.
Yeah, he just
that's unfortunate.
He just emailed us and said there's a snafu and he has had to reschedule. So
what a bummer. I like John Roque a lot. John Roque, technical analyst at Lehman for years, and he was Soros's technician. I mean, John Roque, Portuguese from New York. He took me to a nice Greek restaurant recently. Him and I were hanging out in the city. Well, good egg, that John Roque.
Don't worry, we will get John back in the next couple of weeks.
One of my favorite technicians of all time.
We'll get him on.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, then let's keep talking markets. I got a chart here.
Yeah. You got. Is this your tan chart?
No,
that wasn't yours.
No. Throw up chart 1. That was mine.
Okay.
This, to me, super zoomed in chart of Dow futures. Looks a lot like indecision. At least wicks.
These are daily wicks.
This isn't even a great example. Look at something like the Russell 2000. Big, there's long upper shadows, nonstop, the past few weeks. And if we compare this with, tell me I'm overthinking this.
I'd be happy to. So long upper shadow. So they gave up the gains intraday is what you're alluding to. And now we're seeing the opposite.
Yeah. And compare it with, now throw up this chart. This is back at the lows earlier this year. Look at the wicks on the candles back in March at the bottom. This just speaks to the tape and who's in control during the session. You don't want to overthink something like this, but if every day we come in and we test, the pivot highs from yesterday, and then we get faded and we close towards the lows. And you see that over and over and over and over again. It's telling you something about, at least who's in control of the market over the short term. If you look in March, long lower shadows over and over and over and over again, we built the bottom. If you look today, I'm seeing a lot of long upper shadows. So again, doesn't mean buyers can't come in here and make a save, and that changes. But for now, it really seems like sellers are controlling the intraday session.
Yeah, supply, right?
Something like that. You mean that has to do with the overhead supply at these levels?
Whether it's overhead supply at these levels, there's just more supply intraday coming in, right? It's more about just, like you said, it's sort of the how would you explain it? The not the the characteristics of the market, like kind of like the environment, right? And at the end of the day, it's not taking much volume to knock these things around. Like, this is the slowest week of the year. Speaking of which, new monthly candles in a couple of days. Who's excited, huh? Nobody?
If the dollar, and
wait a minute, a couple of days or tomorrow? How many days are in August?
The first is on Friday. So
there's 31 days in August? Since when? There's always been 31 days
since this year.
August?
It's the first time. No.
Is it? No.
Listen, guys, dollar looks like it's heading higher, right? Here today. Looks like it's going to be another strong day for Dixie. If we close higher again this week, that would be 7 consecutive weeks of a higher dollar. We haven't seen something like that since, I think, 2014.
And how have stocks reacted? Pretty shitty.
I mean, is it do or die time for the dollar and rates and these intermarket headwinds? I mean,
I don't think there's any do or die time. It's the last week of August. Like, we can't overthink. Specific pivot levels and like critical support levels and like this is do or die. It's now or never. It's the last week of August. Like, you can't trust it. Wait till the volume comes back after Labor Day. You can even argue that the week after Labor Day is still not the week. It's the week after that. So I would, and I used to be really, really good at overthinking things earlier in my career when I was younger. Really, really good at that. And I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Let the market, let it dance, low volume. One guy is in a bad mood. He comes in, he can knock down the whole market. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much going on. So I wouldn't overthink it.
Update. My dad said TJX also has double-digit dividend increases each year.
Ew.
We'll have to fact check that. But
Mr. Strazza with the fun facts. You need to fact check your father. You don't trust him?
He's got like all the dividend apps. He tracks it just as much as we do.
There's such thing as
I was going to say,
they got apps.
What are these dividend apps?
I'll ask.
Hold on. Not only does he have dividend apps, he has all the dividend apps.
He has multiple.
How many dividend apps
he has
are
multiple like dividend apps. Yes. Yeah. We'll get to it.
Can you explain to me what a dividend app is or does, out of curiosity?
It specializes in tracking dividend information to the point of like when the pay date is and the X date is and the announcement is. And it tracks the growth rate and the yield and all this fun stuff for you. If you just love dividends like my dad, it's like heaven in an app.
Can we get some names of some of these apps that you speak of?
Listen, I'm sure I'll get a text within the next minute.
No. Unlike JC, I'm actually curious. He's just making fun.
No, I'm curious too. I have no beef with dividends. I don't know.
He's probably the person to ask about this because I believe he's tested several over the years.
I prefer buybacks, contrary to these communist politicians that don't like buybacks. Buybacks are way better from an accounting standpoint, right?
Buybacks? Yeah. I'm a buyback guy. Sure.
Tax efficiency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better. It's better for shareholders to do the buybacks than it is to pay.
Not going to hate a company for paying dividends, right? I want shareholder return. So it's better than nothing, right? But when push comes to shove, if you ask me, I would say, yeah, give me the buyback. And traditionally, those stocks will perform better over time on a total return basis, just because their stock price will be stronger. But dividends are still good too. You want the dividend. You want a company that has the ability to return cash to shareholders.
Sean says we need to bring on Mr. Strazza on the show. Didn't we have him on a Twitter Spaces?
We did. Yeah, we did.
We did, right? He was great. He was way better than you.
I don't know about that. Here, hold on. We might have an answer now. Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Dividend apps. Can we do a little hot corner before we bring in Kimmy?
Yeah, we can. I wanted to see if I wanted to do. Yeah, well, we'll do hot corner now.
All right, it's called Dividend Pro.
Dividend Pro. All right.
Dividend Pro. That's a clever name for a dividend app.
Should be called. All right, I'm gonna think of a pun right now.
Hot corner. So hot right
now. Listen, boring list. JC's gonna say this was a piker purchase in Funko. The stock's not even big enough to talk about it.
Yeah, it might be a piker purchase in Funko, but they're making one every day.
They make dolls. Even this P3 Health is really small. And Frontier Communications. Listen, I used to live up in Connecticut, where they're the provider. I know exactly why this stock looks the way it does. I wouldn't touch this. I wouldn't touch any telecommunication stock. But that's our list today. Options activity, however, very interesting.
Yeah.
Can we get into the options activity?
Peabody, speaking of coal.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we've talked about a lot of these names recently, right? All of them popped up on our option scan just yesterday. Peabody Energy. Didn't even bother to bring the chart along because this one's been a laggard in the space. I own it. I bought it at support several weeks ago, back in July, probably. But it's still, it's stuck in a range here. Not exciting. I was hoping for a nice catch-up move to something like AMR or CEIX. I would stick with the leaders. Again, this is range bound. This is better above 30, wouldn't you say, JC?
Yeah, I mean, and when you look at the coal stocks, coal stock by coal stock, is BTU the one you want to buy? Probably not. Right?
Next, we've talked about Disney. Somebody's buying the weakness out here in Disney. Buying support, too. Interesting.
Was that you, Spencer, buying these calls?
Support level. So I don't hate that. I really don't hate that at all, right? I mean, what the other bet that you're making is that Disney is going to fall apart. Because if this top completes, that would suggest a big leg lower. And what does that do to Disney stock, right? You're literally betting on like the crumbling of one of America's greatest brands. So,
yeah, and and that would be characteristic of a new bear market, a new bearish regime for the, when you have a bellwether like this, completing a massive top.
Great point.
You saw a lot of that in 06 and 07, right? You saw a lot of that at like key market peaks. There's little to no evidence that we're in one of those junctures right now. So if you do see a resolution lower, if you see a target, if you will, in the Disney situation, that would call into question this structural bull market for equities that we continue to believe that we're in, and the market continues to prove that we're in. I think buying Disney is essentially one interesting way to play. This is not the end of a bull market, but probably closer to the beginning of one. But what do you got to be above what, 90?
It's the mid 80s. I think you could use those pivot lows. We would have to zoom in on something like this. But I think your point is excellent, which is simply that in bull markets, some of the biggest stocks or bellwethers of the market don't break down from structural tops,
massive tops.
Shawnee,
doesn't
mean it's not a hard and fast rule though, JC, right? Because it doesn't mean like some companies just have company specific issues and they do fall apart. But you start to see companies like Disney and a lot of this. But you are going to have your GEs, right? And that can happen in a bull market, bear market, or anything.
Yeah, but GE put in their massive top in 06. You know what I mean? Like, look at that was a massive top. Actually, it was 2000. They put a massive top in, then another massive top in 07, and then another massive top in 17. And then I guess it was crashing in 18. Yeah, no, you're right. That was more company specific, within an overall more healthy environment. That's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
We don't have to talk about it. So let's go back to the table because we do have a new name that we could talk about.
TWNK.
We also mentioned Foot Locker, or like last week, but I want to talk about Hostess brands here today. Yeah,
dude, this is the business, man.
Look at this thing, Twinkie,
dude. The companies that are killing people, Mondelez and like all these sugar convection companies, great businesses, man. People just love killing themselves.
Well,
with
we'll
this
put an
shit.
asterisk on that because they've gone bankrupt twice in like the last 20 years. But they just keep coming back. Private equity helped them last time. Apollo brought them back to being a public company like 4 years ago, and it's been working out this time. Apparently, they're a wanted brand out on the street. They have a number of interested suitors, and they're exploring a sale. So that's why you got that big candle. I guess that was Friday. So 29 is the level, still kind of range bound here. But it looks like Twinkie is getting ready to sell themselves to one of these big guys like Mondelez.
So this company, they're not just killing people with Twinkies. They're killing people with snowballs, ding dongs, zing ho-hos.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of stuff. They've been around since 1919.
Cupcakes.
Since the bird flu, Spanish flu.
What's your favorite one? If you had to eat one of those, ding dong, ho ho, cupcake, snowball, fruit pie, Twinkie. What is it?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what most of those
Spencer
are.
just showed up for the conversation.
That's not why I showed up. But
I'm not. I know the names of some of these, but I don't know like what it actually is. Like I know. Twinkies.
I agree.
That's
I
all
agree
got.
with you, JC. I couldn't point them in a lineup. But
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the others either, but Twinkies are delicious.
what I will say.
I'll do some reconnaissance next time I'm at a gas station. I'll do some.
Does anyone know Drake's?
Drake's.
Strazza, you should know about Drake's, right?
The crumble
All right.
cake? Yeah.
Drake's is a New York thing. I found out recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drake's infinitely better than Hostess.
100%.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna eat something shitty like that, like I'm gonna eat like a cannoli from like an Italian deli or something, or I'm gonna eat like
get that at a grocery store. That's the problem. Like I'm with you, but like that's not different market.
If I'm gonna eat something shitty like that, it's not gonna be a ho-ho.
I
Talking about snacks.
completely agree. If
Like I'm not gonna go to a gas station and pick up some Twinkies while
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm never gonna do that.
It's beside the point.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get the carrot cake at that restaurant you and I ate at the other day. That was delicious.
You know, I haven't had a good carrot cake in some time now.
I've never had a carrot cake, so.
All right, what's next?
You've never had carrot cake?
I can't. I'm allergic to nuts. So
What is slow wheat?
Is there nuts in carrot cake?
What's the economic?
There's no carrots in carrot cake, thank God. That's why it's so good.
All right, let's bring Kimmy on. And before I get any complaints, I'm getting Kimmy a new camera. I don't want to hear about it anymore from anyone in the chat. New camera's on the way. Okay, it's coming.
My camera's crap too. That doesn't bother.
Your camera is not crap. It is good. For some reason,
nobody wants to
some
see
days
you.
it's blurry.
They want to see her.
Nobody has a problem with me.
No,
being
your
blurry?
camera is good.
No, we want it more blurry with you, actually.
Let's find out what Kimmy is trading today, or maybe she's just like the rest of the street and taking the week off. Unlikely.
I want to know Kimmy's favorite dessert.
Or get her favorite dessert. I bet you she knows what Drake's are.
Key lime pie.
She doesn't.
Hey guys,
Kimmy.
is Strazza still in Florida?
Yeah, he's in
Oh, boy,
Florida.
hopefully he's okay.
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be
he'll be
fine.
fine.
Category
Right.
3. You'll be okay. All right.
Big storm coming. Apparently today. I found out late last night. We're not.
He just found it. And it's coming our way. So tomorrow might be a little rough. We'll see how it goes here.
Kimmy's new to places that have hurricane
I know.
season.
I'm like, wait, I have to drive back to New York.
Kimmy, let me tell you the inside scoop from someone who grew up in Miami. It's all bullshit. They rarely ever come. Everybody gets all hyped up. It's good for the economy because Home Depot and the grocery stores, they make a lot of money and stuff like that. So it's good for the economy. But just remember, they're just
Have you been there through a bad one yet, Kimmy? Like, were you there?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I've been in the Keys for almost 10 years now, and we hear about it all the time, but nothing's really happened. Irma came through. That
Alex, I agree. But
Huh?
no, this gentleman, Alex, just said it could be worse for us in Savannah. For some reason, they're saying tomorrow. So we'll
Kimmy,
see.
just get some booze and some board games, and you'll be fine.
It's fun.
My one drink, right? And I'll be falling over.
Well, maybe have a couple more than just one, and some Scrabble or some Monopoly or something. You'll be good. Kimmy, before we get into the stocks, What is your favorite dessert?
Mine? Well, I like a lot of, I love, so dessert. Okay, so it can't just be candy, right? Okay.
I don't know. JC made the rules.
I,
I don't know. You like candy?
what?
You like candy?
Love candy. Jelly Belly jelly beans are like my favorite.
Really?
man.
I never would have guessed
And
that.
they have to be in the refrigerator because I like them like crunchy and hard.
Oh my god. Okay.
So like people in my house go, why are jelly beans in the refrigerator?
Okay.
That's well, all right. She's into jelly beans. Something else she's into is consistently making money intraday. 4 for 6 yesterday. MicroStrategy's long, shorted Snow, shorted Twilio, bought AMD. A couple of losers, but 4 for 6. Kimmy, all in all, nice day.
No, those
Nice
weren't
day.
very profitable, the other two. I called out my bad in the morning. I called out IWM at 185 for a move to 186. People in the room did take it. I was slow to the punch. I was watching other stuff. So, sometimes when, you're monitoring a room and you're looking for names for the individuals in the room, sometimes I'm like watching other things and I forget to like do my own trade. Not that I forget. It's just, you're just watching other stuff. So I catch most, but I do miss some. So sometimes I miss,
Kimmy, this Pinduo Duo, they just reported earnings. Stock is up 12%, up at 90. Is this a fade here at that resistance from a month ago?
I'm going to see. I have to let it trade some. Earnings plays.
Throw up slide 1, Spencer.
Earnings plays are very hard. They either, it's hard to know which way they're going to go. Are they going to run this up to 95 to 97, or they're going to push it in more? So I'll watch. Just because I put a name in my morning note, something that interests me doesn't mean I'll trade it. We're so stuck in look at the SPYs, right? We're stuck between 440 and 444. It's really crummy trading. It really is. Like, it's not very exciting. Really, when they say everyone's at the beach or you should take the week off, you probably should, because it is quite boring at this time. Yeah, so there's PDD. So we'll see. We'll see how it reacts today. If they sell it off or they pop it higher. What do you?
But how are you approaching it? As a fade, or you're looking to go with it?
I can't tell yet. I really should have shorted it pre-market around 91, around near 92. So, and then I would have.
So you're approaching it open-minded. You could go either way today, huh? That's
Correct. I don't know which way they're going to push it. People are going to buy into this. A lot of people have been selling off, earnings plays, right? Look, they sold off NVDA. They sold off a lot of names. So that doesn't mean they're going to sell this name off, but, we have to see the way it acts.
And what about the overall market, Kimmy? Last week of August, does this slowness, what do they call it? Extended gamma risk. What is the proper name? Basically low volume, easy to knock around stocks. You think this continues through next week?
To next week. I think this goes this week and next week, because people, kids up north will probably be heading back to school next week, right? Usually they start after Labor Day. So I think next week will be slow too. It's the week after that, everyone will be back in their saddle, ready to go. And, I think we have big options month this month. I also think we also have, what is it? We have FOMC, don't we? Right? The Fed this month?
I'll be honest. I don't even really know.
September.
Right. Next week. In the next 2 weeks. Sorry. I'm looking out 2 weeks. So I think this week is going to be slow, and next week it is painful. Like it was, and we're so stuck in this chop range. It's like at 350 yesterday, they spiked the SPYs up to like 440, 350 and then back down. I don't know what the heck what that's, I don't know what that pop was.
Wait, you said at 350?
Yeah, so maybe it was like the
That
imbalance.
could have been like closing imbalances if I had to guess.
Yeah, but it was a noticeable big spike though. It was pretty big spike, and then boom, back down. Names. Me.
Expect more of that.
What?
Expect more of that in the next
2 weeks. This
6-7 trading days, right?
I just don't love the action. I'm not loving a lot of names. Not getting much wiggle room. You know, I'm going to watch Google had good news out this morning too. We'll see if it gets a push past 132. Maybe it runs higher to 134, 135. I mean, I don't know. Let's see if anything has power. You know, might not have the power to push, you know? So,
Well, the good news, despite all of this, is that Kimmy's still making money. So if you want to actually trade with her, the link is there on the bottom of the screen. It's scrolling. It's also in the chat. It's also in the description. Day Trader Pro. She trades every single day at the open, through the open for at least the first 3 hours of the day, 2-3 hours of the day. She's there, hardcore trading. You can watch her screen as she's trading and calling out her trades and setups that she sees, and do the whole idea flow thing and do I give ideas back and forth, and it's a wonderful collaborative room. Check it out. Day Trader Pro. Kimmy, go make some money.
have a good one, guys. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, Kimmy with her product, day trading and jelly beans.
That's what, in hindsight, maybe that's what she should have called it. Day trading and jelly beans. I don't know. I've never heard of the jelly bean in the fridge situation, but hey, everyone's got their thing. That's fine. Okay, what I wanted to say, since we mentioned the hurricane thing, is it time for a seasonal GNRC trade? Anyone?
A who?
GNRC?
I don't do this.
You don't
What
do
is
that?
No.
What is
stupid.
GNRC?
People talk about this every year. He's right. It's a hurricane season play.
Yeah.
They sell generator.
Is it the name of a
Dude, it's
company?
a big generator company. GNRC.
They sell GNRC.
What's the ticker symbol?
GNRC. You've heard of this.
You've heard of this.
Yeah.
This has been a crazy one for
It looks like a Kathy Woodstock.
It's not.
It looks like. Why does it look like one?
Because there was an acid bubble 2 years ago. I don't know.
I know, but not every asset looks like this. Why does it look like an ARC stock? Strazza?
It doesn't. It's not an ARC stock. Doesn't look like it.
Oh, it doesn't?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but it shouldn't, I guess. Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go.
What?
You're gonna overlay them.
I already did.
Right. I gotta
here.
No, but this is the
up.
thing. Every year, late August, onto the hurricanes. Hurricane season is what, mid-August to middle of October, right? So, hurricane season, we're in it. I've seen it happen. I'm just saying.
Throw up slide one.
All right, fine.
Doesn't it look arky? Doesn't it look arky?
Yeah, I don't. Not fighting you
yeah,
on that.
JC, a lot of stocks sold off.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like Nvidia.
This is not high beta.
I don't know. It looks
Doesn't
arky. It looks
doesn't
arky.
look like anything I want to own.
Well,
Right.
I'm not saying buy a hold. I'm saying for a little swing. I would be curious.
So this is a generator company, and people. This is like buying like Buffalo Wild Wings before the Super Bowl or something. Like
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. This thing has a forward PE of 21. This is not Arky. This is not a Kathy stock.
I don't know what that means, but it's a $7 billion piece of hot garbage. This one from Waukesha, Wisconsin. Waukesha.
Sure. Great.
All right. It was
That's
just
a
an
name.
idea. Fine. No one likes it. I'd be curious what the options market is saying.
Who in their right mind is going to buy this thing? GNRC just because we're going into hurricane season? That doesn't make any sense.
I've heard worse. I've heard worse things, and
I probably heard
it is a
dumber
thing.
ideas,
I'm
too.
telling you, this is a thing.
People do buy Buffalo Wild Wings ahead of the
not
Super Bowl, by
anymore.
the
They
way.
don't, but they used to when you could.
Yeah, early in my career, some of the older folks would
Yep.
say that.
All right, fine. Okay, wait.
Waukesha. All right, Chris
Wait,
Brown.
what else was on my list? There's one more. Oh yeah, Neo. Hold on, Neo was on my list today because they're getting cracked.
Speaking of electric vehicle scams,
Yeah, Neo. It was earnings and deliveries. Oh wow, their deliveries. Holy crap! Down 6% year over year and down 24% quarter over quarter. What the heck happened to them last quarter? Down 7% this morning. Whew.
What, Neo?
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about the earnings. I'm just talking about deliveries, which is really all that matters.
it's one of these Chinese scams, man.
Look at that.
Yeah, there's nothing here. If this thing's below 11, you can't touch it. where are we right now? 10 and a quarter. Yeah.
All right.
If we start recovering above 11, maybe.
All right. And
Here, hold on. I want to show you
yeah, okay.
something.
What do you got?
Punch up.
Yeah.
Punch up slide 1 here, just so you can kind of put things in perspective on what this thing is doing. Granted, it's down 7% pre-market, but here, punch that up. These are the old IPO highs. So market memory there, Spencer. Right?
I mean,
Look at that one.
I don't think I've ever seen a stock as left for dead come back and then die again like Neo has.
What do you mean left for dead? When was it
This
left
thing
for
was
dead?
under $1 a few years ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess right before COVID, and then it got going again.
Never seen this thing.
Throw it up.
Sorry, I got it.
See,
Yeah.
maybe that former resistance from the IPO highs, maybe that's around 11, right, Strazza?
Neo,
Is it a little too cute, or you think it's got a shot to, it's holding?
go for it. It is a big level. This 10 and change.
I mean, if you don't have any Chinese automaking scam exposure and you're trying to increase that, I mean, this is one way to go about it. What does Pinduoduo do? They don't do.
I'll tell you what they do. They outperform. If you want to throw up that chart.
Hey, now.
I just threw up a relative trend. Look, it's just like anything. I have a gold chart that I want to talk about later too. If you have to own Chinese stocks or you have to own Chinese internet, right? At least own one like this. This is Pinduoduo versus its peers, as P.
Yeah, but you're using K-Web as a denominator. Anything's going to look
Yeah, but
good.
JC, K-Web is home to some of the largest stocks around the world are in that fund. So, like, there are some people out in Asia who probably have to. What? Who's laughing? Some people
That's like using Japanese.
I'm
yen
laughing
as
at
the
stock market,
denominator.
Mike. That's I'm not laughing at you.
Some people need exposure to these companies, some of the largest companies around the world. And my point is, Pinduoduo is outperforming. PDD is huge. You want to know how big they are? They're a big one too.
Tell me.
20 billion, 100 billion. Wow, way bigger than I thought.
$100 billion.
Pinduoduo 100 billion. Wow, that's some hustle they got going there.
Also, we have this like Medicare drug approval pricing stuff in the news today. This is a big thing for some of these healthcare stocks, huh?
These headlines come every few months, right?
They're actually like doing something on it. They're like making decisions.
Are they? Okay. It's hard for me to care when they I've seen the same headline like 10 times, but all right, I didn't see it this morning. I'll check it out.
Pricing is really everything for these companies, especially when they get to like a particular size, like the Pfizers and Mercks of the world. They're more or less going out and acquiring the research and development from other smaller companies, and then it's just all a game of how much can we charge for these things.
Yeah.
So that's notable news. The Hawaiian Electric thing, as much as I know we kind of brushed it off yesterday, is getting kind of interesting. Did you read anything about that?
Yeah, you're the one that said you didn't want to talk about it, so I didn't bring it up. But
I didn't read about it or pay attention to it at all. After the market closed yesterday, I read a couple stories on it. It sounds like Maui's government is trying to pull a fast one over here. Hawaiian Electric threw it right back at him and was like, this is on you guys. That's why the stock rallied so much yesterday. Seems like there is a little bit of a gray area around who actually is responsible for the fire.
Don't know. Okay, I want to bring up. Can we bring up this chart of our rating of the day? Mr. Michael Rollins from Citigroup woke up this morning and shows violence. He is upgrading AT&T and Verizon to a buy rating. Buy. He says that this whole thing about these fiber optic cables, remember there was an article a few months ago and the legal exposure, it's all overblown. It's hogwash. And
all right.
You should buy the stock according to Michael Rollins from Citigroup.
Do you have access to his history? I would love to know, if you're an analyst that covers telecom, what has your history been with these companies? Has he been on the right or wrong side for the last 10 years, right? Because you could pull up analyst history.
First of all, this guy's got a set of balls on him to opine on anything coming from Citigroup. Are you kidding me? Citigroup? Glass houses, stones, anyone? Come on. Nobody cares what anybody at Citigroup thinks about anything. Are you kidding me?
That's mean.
This
That's
guy.
mean.
All
What
right.
is?
Michael Rollins?
What's mean? It's fact.
Michael Rollins has been covering covering AT&T. I only have data going back to 2019, and he's been bullish the entire time
Wait,
on AT&T.
So that's my point.
Can we throw up slide 1 so you can see what these things?
We really care what he has to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have data going back to 2015, and he has still been bullish the entire time.
Dude, that's terrible. That's my.
That's why. These are the types of people.
Time.
These are the types of people that Citigroup
Not the whole
hires,
time.
right?
He was neutral for a little while there. He went from buy to neutral to buy, neutral, buy, neutral, and now he's back to buy.
Sounds like this guy's a real piece of work.
Yeah.
This guy, Citigroup, get out of here.
Hey,
Citigroup.
I don't know the last time we've gotten an upgrade in one of these stocks.
Like, think about this. Not only are you a sell-side analyst, but you're a sell-side analyst at Citigroup. Like, does life get any worse?
The last upgrade, just out of curiosity, the last upgrade that I had for AT&T, it was not long ago. It was a month ago. So never mind.
I'm in it for the dividend, Strazza.
Anyway, I thought that was fun.
Elsewhere,
Dude, 8% dividend on this AT&T and Verizon. Both of them paying 8% dividends. Ugh.
in other street news this morning, I saw a nice note from Bernstein on Airbnb. Airbnb they view as compelling, with bear cases discredited. What is the bear case for Airbnb? Is it not just valuation? I mean, doesn't the company trade at like 8, 9, 10 times sales?
No, the bear case is legal risk because
I was going to say legalities,
they've
right?
been handcuffed by a few cities, and New York is threatening them now. So
You know, I'm banned on Airbnb.
Okay, well, listen, there's a reason. There's
And
a reason
it
for
was
that.
Giancarlo's fault. It was Giancarlo's fault. We rented that Airbnb, remember that one time? And then I sat on the chair and it fell and the chair broke. That was not my fault. And then the door handle came off. Again, not my fault. And I got kicked off Airbnb because the
We're walking into the house and we're like, all right, everybody be good. Let's not destroy an Airbnb. And we haven't been in there for more than 3 minutes, Spencer. He opens the door, the handle falls off. I don't know what you did to it. Then he sits in a chair. The chair like collapses. It was just a disaster.
and now I can't rent on Airbnb anymore. So I have to have my wife do it or Giancarlo do it.
And now when we go to Airbnbs, Giancarlo's like so anal about like, don't touch the doorknobs, don't sit in the.
I stayed in Airbnb once, and I pulled up to the driveway, and someone had already shattered a mirror by the time I got there. So, I think we all have stories like that. But I like Airbnb. I'm a fan.
I was saying, if I got drunk and reckless, I would be like, my bad, guys. But we were working. Like I was being so good.
I still own Airbnb actually. Right about these levels. I'm not too far on the red here. So
I like Airbnb. I like the story here. I think this thing sticks around for the long run, and if it does, it's going to be a great buy. But I agree with Stock Market Mike in the chat. Marriott over Airbnb all day. It's a different kind of thing. Depends on what you're looking for. The problem with Airbnbs is you're susceptible to surprises, right? Like a shower that stinks or something, or like a dirty room.
Yeah.
Being at a hotel is just like always a safer bet.
Yeah, but it depends, man. I got a family of 5, 3 kids. We get Airbnbs when we go places. We don't get hotels.
I know, I get that. But I'm just saying, like, you don't have that margin of safety. Like, what if you book a place, then you get there and it doesn't look like the pictures? You're like, oh shit. At a hotel, at least you could like leave or upgrade your room or something.
Sounds like somebody had a bad experience at one of these hotels in Asia.
No, I'm pro hotel. I'm bullish hotel over the Airbnb experience.
You bearish the pictures of the hotels, though.
Listen, we ended up in some funky spots, but we made it out okay. Everything was good.
I'm sure your mother's thrilled to hear about these funky spots you were in.
Our first hotel after a 24-hour flight, we walk into this hotel in Singapore. I don't know what the travel agent did to us. It didn't have windows. Literally walked in and walked out. I don't know if you saw that video yet.
I haven't seen that.
it.
I have not
No,
seen that footage.
That one's available.
All right.
That's hilarious. Why don't we get a little update on the market now that the market's been open for a couple of minutes? Slightly dancing. Flat markets across the board. Dow completely flat. S&P's completely flat. NASDAQ inching higher a little bit, up 10 basis points. Bonds flat. Gold flat. Silver flat. Copper flat. Oil flat. Natty gas flat. There is nothing happening today. Volatility's flat. Rates are flat. Like this is as prototypical of a last week of August as markets get.
Yeah.
Like this is
classic. Even from a
Classic.
sector index level, really nothing going on. A little bit of leadership here from communications on an equal weight basis. Most things more or less unchanged on the day. Energy, industrials kind of lagging, but only down about 30 basis points. So
Classic late August. Classic.
guys. Sleepy.
All right.
But let's go over something important because people are like, well, then, JC, why are we all on vacation then? Well, when you have 3 kids, you go on trips. You don't go on vacations, number one. So that's why I'm here. Number 2, this is whipsaw hunting season, right? What is that cartoon? We hunting wabbits, right? Wascally wabbits. What is that? Yosemite Sam, right? We're hunting wabbits.
That's is that Elmer Fudd?
Maybe
That's
Elmer
all-
Fudd. I don't know. But nevertheless, this is whipsaw hunting season. So what that means to me, this week and the last week of December before New Year's, after Christmas, you get extended trends that have already been in place, extend slightly further, right? You got the B squad at the desks, right? The PMs are on vacation. They're not allowed to do much. They just want to make it through Labor Day, right? So these trends tend to extend on low volume. And then after Labor Day or after New Year's, in the case of the end of the year, you get the big move. You saw it in technology. Technology was the big one, and growth in general was the big one around the holidays. Those downtrends in growth, those downtrends in tech extended through the end of the year. And that's a big reason why these year-to-date numbers are so skewed. When you got these people that are like, oh, the cap-weighted index is outperforming the equally weighted index by so much. But they make sure to leave out that the beginning of the year was exactly when you got that sector rotation, which is why these year-to-date numbers are so skewed, because you got that rotation at the beginning of the year. But they just want to be dramatic about it and scare you into thinking that the cap-weighted index outperforming equally weighted index is like such a bad thing for the market. Like, it's not bad or good. It's not a breadth thing. It's a sector rotation thing. And that happened at the beginning of the year. And that was a great example of trends extending into the end of the year. And then you get the real move after New Year's. I'm not saying that it's going to be exactly like that, but if history has shown us anything, I got a funny feeling that there's going to be some asset or group of stocks that are going to have a major turn come at the beginning of September as it extends, at whatever trend extends this week. So that's what I'm looking for. Any extended trends that you guys think could be a candidate?
I got some charts here. Give me a little bit, but I got 2 candidates because I think you're absolutely right, and I think failed moves or a little bit of whipsaws are kind of what we're looking for, right? Based on what you're saying.
Yeah, but again, coming from extended moves that have already been in place for some time. Yep. One of my favorites of all time, when I realized whipsaw hunting season was real, and something that we needed to pay attention to was the you could talk about precious metals. Precious metals, big move. Look at bonds. Bonds at the beginning of 2015. Gold and silver, I forget the year. I remember like where I was and what I was doing. It was in It was in 2019. You saw some of that. Oh, 2016. That was it. 2016. You had that sell-off in gold and silver, extended into December, had been falling the back half of the year. and absolutely ripped after the new year. I'll never forget it. Saw the same thing in 2015 also, by the way. Monster move in early 2016. So you actually saw the whipsaw hunting season in precious metals twice within a year.
Throw up chart 1. So I think something like this, setups like this, betting on some of these short-term tops being not that at all, right?
This is Disney. It's the same thing,
Markets are fractal, so sure, right? But Disney is this over a decade almost, right? That's how that topping pattern's played out. This is over a year.
Throw it up, Spencer.
Chart 1. What do I have to do here to get a chart up?
Sorry,
Yeah, what do we have to do, Spencer?
miscommunication. Sorry.
So look, this looks like classic distribution, right? This top completes, 38% of the advance from the lows of last year have now been given back right around that 97 level. You have a shelf of pivot lows right there. It's the market telling you over and over and over again that this level is important. We hook higher, classic bear trap. Maybe you scoop and go. Momentum did not get oversold there. That kind of stands out to me as well. And this is Starbucks, people. Who doesn't love a good Starbucks? I know JC's a Dunkin'.
I don't. I'm a Dunkin'. We're a Dunkin'.
We were talking crap about Starbucks on here like a few weeks ago, and then my girlfriend got one of those Starbucks cold brews from like Publix.
Good.
It's delicious. It's really good.
Yeah.
They have Starbucks inside of Publix.
Yeah, so like that's what all the companies do it now. Dunkin' does it too. They'll make like in like a thing with next to the milk.
Yeah, he's saying the licensing. Well, the
because like Barnes and Nobles, for example, has Starbucks in it.
No, it's not what I'm talking about. They sell goods in the grocery store.
The CPG, consumer packaged goods. They're actually making stuff in stores and selling
like
stuff
Twinkies.
in stores. Yeah.
You strike me as a Dunkin' guy.
Oh, I hate
not
Dunkin'.
a Starbucks
Oh God,
guy.
I hate their
Really?
I hate their coffee. Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, you're crazy.
Wow.
So you like Starbucks?
I do. I like Starbucks coffee. Yeah.
See, he's fancy, JC. He's a fancy guy.
Why Starbucks is fancier than Dunkin' Donuts? Why is I didn't know that.
Starbucks is like for West Coast people, and Dunkin' is for East Coast people.
Dunkin's for people from Boston.
Really?
Starbucks is for everybody else.
Dunkin's big on the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're from Boston.
It is, and they when we moved to California, I remember my wife complaining, and then they opened one up like in the hood, which is she's in logistics, so she was always in the hood. It was like a huge deal when they opened up a Dunkin' Donuts.
Being in logistics, never mind.
Because if you're in logistics, all the warehouses and stuff, they're not in nice neighborhoods. True. They're all in the hood. Like my wife was always like in Compton and in
fair,
like in the South Bay in San Francisco. Like you don't want to go.
You know what coffee I can't drink anymore, JC? I mentioned this to you before. I can't do the Cuban coffee. It's just I think I like built up a tolerance for Cuban coffee at one point in my life, and then I left Key West for a while, and I just lost it. It just doesn't work for me anymore. I've been going to the French place instead. It's kind of sad.
Getting an old Americano.
I used to go with the Cortaditos, and now oh my God, I'll have a heart attack.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, you got to be careful with those. These Cubans, man, they don't mess around. These Cubans are crazy.
All right, let's talk about the chart report. We got Patrick here, so let's
get him in.
Get him on. Let's go.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, Pat. Good to see you, buddy.
Patrick.
Nice interview with Neto the other day.
That was
great.
fun. That was a lot of fun meeting him.
We always talk about how Patrick's the mayor. Notice how John Rogue did not cancel on Patrick, but he canceled on us.
Rogue canceled on us, Pat.
I know. I was looking forward to seeing his interview today.
He is rescheduled for the 14th of September.
Oh, there you go. You got him rescheduled already.
Yeah, just like that.
No, he's not.
That's the day we're back. Strazza's not going to be
there.
there.
We're not going to have a show that day.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we are. We'll be
So
back.
Strazza, you're going back to Vietnam.
Yeah, Pat, I am.
Pat is not going with him.
Right after Future Proof.
Mm-hmm. September 13th.
Beast mode. Patrick, why don't you tell the folks what the chart report is? What is this?
What is the chart report? It's the newsletter with no news. It's just charts.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah. So yesterday was really all about China. I mean, JC, you hit it on the head. We're in the dog days of summer. Things are the markets are thin and just not a lot going on. Not a lot of strong trends out there. So brings us to Chinese equities, right? The contrarian play of the week, if you will. We got the Economist magazine cover indicator yesterday. You got Xi Jinping riding like a half bull or half dragon, half snail thing. But it wasn't just the Economist.
It's ridiculous, by the way. You gotta give extra points for creativity. Like the more creativity on the cover, the more relevant I think it is to sentiment.
What's your favorite magazine cover to fade? Is it Time magazine?
You know, the as much as we like to say The Economist, because they're just so good at being on the complete wrong side of the trend. I really like when you see non-financial stuff. Like this is the old Barry Ritholtz theory, like the so like when you see like financial stuff like on the cover of the New Yorker is a good one. Time magazine, like you said, the non-financial.
Any local newspapers too. That's late inning stuff once it gets to the local stands.
Yeah, the local newspapers too. The USA Today, but there's too much in terms of magazine covers. Probably the New Yorker and Time, right? Are probably those are two good ones.
What kind of Pokemon is this?
A special one. You have to really collect them all to get that one.
It's a Gyarados.
But it wasn't just The Economist. If you scroll all the way down, Jason Gopfert from Sentiment Trader, he pointed out that the number of negative news articles relating to China is at a record high. So
the number of articles are at a record high too.
Right. And people, contrarians, you're not making the bet that the economy just flourishes from here, but you're betting that the worst has been priced in already. And I mean, given the news.
By the way, last time there were this many negative headlines on China was in 2015, and Chinese stocks crashed.
Right. You remember that?
But just because there's a lot of negative headlines doesn't mean it's going to go up.
Let's be honest here. With China, when are the headlines good? When are they good? Like, show me a time when the headlines are good. Maybe 10 years ago when everybody was getting at least really bulled up on them market-wise, but the headlines are never good coming out of China. So this is an extra tough one, I think.
They were good. It's funny. They were good right before the great financial crisis because I think they were getting the Olympics or something like that. So it was like the China Olympics trade. I kid you not, swear to God. And
Jason Shapiro kind of alluded to it when he was on the yesterday, right? He said like back in the 90s, that was the story, right? Like it's been the bullish narrative, I guess, for a while, but God, it's been at least 5 years now. No good news about that.
Spencer, can you throw up the Russo chart there? Russo talking about how it's consensus that all these interest rate charts are going to break out. I don't disagree with that, obviously, as I've been buying bonds. Haven't added to positions yet, but looking to add to position. What do you think about, you think Russo's right?
You know what? The fact that they haven't broke out yet stands out. What's taking so long?
What's taking so long is that they're probably not going higher and rates are going lower. It's going to piss everybody off and bond prices are going to rip and JC's going to get his beach house.
All right. I think when you do pair sentiment with a breakout like that, to your guys' point, I think you kind of can get an idea of whether a move's going to fail or not. I know you got to be careful with that, but it almost seemed like we broke out. We got that 15-year high, and then everybody was just like, okay, yep, rates are going higher for longer. That's it. The breakout's done. What if it doesn't work, right? Markets love to stump the majority. So
what if we see?
But you think it actually is consensus? Like, you think he's right? Like, I don't want to be biased here because I'm agreeing with Russo here, but I want to know what you guys think. You guys actually think it's consensus?
I don't know.
Isn't there something going on with positioning there? Isn't there some sort of extreme in bond futures?
Yeah, SPACs, large SPACs, super short, most short ever. I don't know. This is a hard one.
It's going to be important.
I mean,
it's an important question.
I mean, my bet is that rates don't break out, but I'm not so confident about it that I have this huge position. I don't want to say it's an irrelevant position, but it's not like a big boy. It's not a big boy position at all.
Is there any other intermarket stuff that you see on that trade that makes you like it?
I mean, what, like copper gold ratio? I mean, these things just have not correlated at all. So, like regional banks, REITs continue to just kind of struggle. Like, there's not really much there in terms of intermarket relationships. I'm not seeing much. In fact, if anything, from an intermarket perspective, the strength in oil would suggest that rates are actually going to break out. If anything,
Yeah,
So
you look at commodities.
that's probably one of the reasons I don't have on a big position.
Commodities kind of have
And I'm just
a little
been
bit
nibbling.
of a bull flag forming. You see that? Or at least they did as of yesterday. I didn't see.
for quite some time now. What else stood out to you in terms of the yesterday's chart report?
So again, slow day, but as Strazza pointed out earlier, we're working on that 7th straight up week in the dollar index. Hasn't done that. Hasn't had 7 in a row since I think 2014 or 2015. And then it went on for another 6. So I think that streak topped out at 12. So, I mean, streaks are trivial, but it is pretty notable that strength in the dollar. For me, the level is 103. If it's above there, that's, you gotta bet on higher dollar, but
Something.
How about the S&P 500 posting back-to-back gains for the first time all
Hold on.
month?
Something I'm
Wow.
sitting here thinking about as listening to you guys have this conversation. What if rates roll over, right, and actually resolve these ranges lower eventually? Dollar digs in here, rips higher, resumes its uptrend. So we got dollar moving up, rates moving down. I think that could make sense. What are commodities doing? What is what does the broader market look like?
I think that's a really low probability outcome. It's certainly possible, but is that the outcome that you want to bet on? That rates in the dollar now start going in different directions out of nowhere? Like, would you make that bet?
I wouldn't. No, but why can't
Right.
I think about it?
Well, that's my point. Do you want to think of, right? No, listen, I'm open to it. Anything's possible, certainly. But is it the high probability outcome? Probably not. It's probably the low probability
So
outcome.
the dollar's giving us evidence that it's ready to, keep moving higher here off this key level that Pat was just describing. And I think that's another vote for rates resolving their range higher, like you're saying.
I mean, the dollar's back to where it got in the spring, and it completely fell apart last time.
6 straight up weeks, bro.
I'm with you guys on the dollar.
I'm familiar. I heard.
But so you guys know Louis Spector, right? Louis Spector. He did a really good study last week on the dollar, basically just disproving the myth that stocks can't go up if the dollar's going up also. And I know you guys know that, but I was wondering what you guys thought about that, because obviously the correlation's there right now.
What two assets? The dollar and what?
The dollar and stocks, S&P.
No, they can go up together.
Right. And it's just kind of a nice reminder because, sure, in the last 2-3 years, that relationship has been very clear inverse.
There used to be a thing earlier in my career. There used to be a thing like, oh, when the dollar is strong and rising, buy small caps. Small caps are outperforming. Like,
well, in the late 90s, the dollar was ripping and small caps underperformed that entire time. Stocks did great. So one thing that we know about correlations is that they're always changing, especially with the dollar. Right?
Yeah, that's what.
Like people, when we've been pounding the table about the negative correlation between the dollar and equities, they're like, but the late 90s. I'm like, bro, it ain't the late 90s. It's 2023.
You can't overthink the intermarket, right? Like, while it's great information, then you go back to price. It just reminds me of that NASDAQ TLT chart where it's like the NASDAQ and bonds were moving exactly together for years. Then all of a sudden they started going in opposite directions. If you sat there and were like, oh, bonds are right, you missed a huge move in stocks. So,
Spencer, why don't you tell the folks where they can get the old chart report? One of my favorite emails of the day, maybe my favorite email, maybe tied for first with the hot
There you
corner.
gold.
Link is up at the bottom of the screen. If you're more of a QR code person, there it is. Also on the screen. Check it out. It's also in the description. If you go to YouTube, you click where it says more below the video there, it's all these links, all of our stuff is in there always. So check it out.
Great email. If you're not getting the chart report, your life has gone horribly wrong. Spencer, why don't you hit that bumper and let's get to a little reset.
Real quick. I
I
want to mention a PSA real fast. If you guys have ever been to our website on mobile, cool new feature we've got there. You'll get prompted with a little a message that says, "Do you want to make this page like a home button, like a button on your like iPhones or smartphones home screen?" So if you do that, we don't have an app, but it's like we have an app. You'll get a link to our website right on with all your apps on your phone, which I think is
it's
super
an
sweet.
app. It's just not in the app store.
Yeah, sure, you can call it that. But
Yeah.
look, I've got a little. I don't know if you can see a little stock market media. You can't see there, but button. But it's right there on the. There it is, right below Zoom.
Great, looks like a great button there, Spencer.
And you
Yeah,
guys
nice
got
logo
push
going.
notifications now too.
Yeah, we got notifications going.
Pretty
We are
sweet.
crushing it on the website. So check it out.
No big deal.
Stockmarketmedia.com. All right. You guys want some recess?
Let's do it.
Let's do some recess. Pat, I hope you got something.
Oh, oof.
Nope. All right. That's cool. Where's my bumper? Come on.
I want to talk about Chardonnay. Best grape in the world? It's got to be, right?
Mhm.
Best grape in the world. Think about it. What do you make with Chardonnay? Champagne? Chardonnay. Chablis? Chardonnay. White Burgundy? Chardonnay. You got some popcorn, right? Gonna sit down and watch a movie. A lot of butter in that popcorn. What are you drinking? California Chardonnay. Right? If you like late harvest dessert wine, there's a lot of different grapes you can use. One of them just happens to be Chardonnay. How is Chardonnay not the best grape in the world? Right? Got a question from Eric Williams saying, JC, can I get your take on oak versus stainless steel Chardonnay? What's the call? They're just different, right? Just different. If you want a Chablis, stainless steel, bright acidity, lovely. And what's the rule that I told you, Strazza, about Chablis? If you're gonna drink Chablis, it's got to be at least Premier Cru. If you can get some Grand Cru Chablis, even better. But
Yep.
Got to be Premier Cru or better if you're gonna drink Chablis. It's not that expensive, pay off for it. On the other side, you got the rest of Burgundy, right? Because Chablis is technically Burgundy, in a completely different style, and the Côte d'Or that's going to use the oak, and it's not overly oak like they tend to do in California. It just uses oak barrels, a lot of neutral oak. In California, you're going to get a lot of that overly oaked, like they call it, like the Cougar Shard, right? Some of these housewives, a Valium and some Chardonnay for lunch, right? Like in the Upper East Side, some of these moms, like that's why they get that stigma. The pool boy, situation going. Like that's what they're drinking. They call it the Cougar Shard in California. But there's a time and a place for everything. Is my point. If you got popcorn, you're gonna watch a movie, ton of butter. That overly oaked Cougar Shard is the way to go.
Okay.
Now we know. Now we know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
We can never forget.
All right.
I got nothing. We'll save the gold talk for tomorrow. Trust me, I know there was a question in the chat about it. There's no rush there. There's no rush.
I saw a few requests in the chat today. Someone asked about Roku. I think Oracle as well. It is Tuesday. We do have a show on Tuesday called Sharp Request Live every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time right here on the channel. If you have a request for that show or for us, save it for that show. You can email us ahead of time, questions at stockmarketmedia.com. We'll just show up in the chat, and we will do our best to get to that. So that'll be at 1 o'clock today. We'll have Twitter Spaces at 11:30 as well, as we always do every Tuesday.
JC will be a surprise guest on Twitter Spaces.
There we go.
It's coming this time.
11:30.
Maybe.
All right, that'll be our schedule for the day. Oh, we are doing part on the price action. That'll get uploaded probably around the close or a little bit after. So stay tuned for that as well. That is all I have to say about that. So thanks for everyone for hanging out. Chat, we love you guys. If you're watching us on the YouTube chat, hit the like. Hey, check out, we have a chat on the website too. We're building out more and more stuff every day. We got chat, we got notifications, we got mobile, we got desktop, we got the videos, we got the chart report is there, right? Pat's products.
Yes, sir.
So check it out and tell us what you think. Give us feedback, good, bad, or otherwise. And that's all I got. Go make some money. We'll see you guys later.
Bonds back above the early August lows.
Hey now.
Saying.
Raise it, John.
run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground